It was a still evening in Los Angeles when Rebecca de Mornay sat quietly in her home, flipping through an old photo album that captured fragments of a life that sometimes felt like someone else's dream. In those faded images, she saw herself smiling beside Tom Cruise in Risky Business, dazzling in elegant gowns on red carpets and laughing freely in moments long gone. To the outside world, she was the cool enchantress, the mysterious beauty, the woman who could own a room with one glance. But behind the glamour and the photographs lay a story few ever truly knew, one of heartbreak, transformation, and the steep price of being admired by everyone yet fully understood by almost no one. Her story began far from Hollywood's glare. Born Rebecca Jane Perch on August 29, 1959, in Santa Rosa, California, her early life was anything but smooth. Her parents divorced when she was young, and when her mother remarried, Rebecca took the surname of her stepfather, de Mornay. The name sounded worldly and refined, and it fit the woman she would one day become: poised, mysterious, and slightly out of reach. Growing up, Rebecca was thoughtful and artistic, drawn to books, music, and the complexities of human emotion. She spent parts of her youth in Europe, where she soaked in different languages and cultures. Experiences that would later give her an uncommon depth both on and off the screen. When she returned to the U.S., she wasn't chasing stardom, she was searching for purpose. She enrolled at the Lee Strasberg Institute in New York, where she learned to channel truth through performance. Those around her described her as magnetic, yet elusive, someone who seemed to carry an inner world that no one could fully access. The road to success wasn't easy. She faced countless rejections, told again and again that she didn't quite fit the mold. But Hollywood couldn't ignore her for long. Rebecca possessed that rare mix of beauty and intensity, delicate yet dangerous, soft-spoken but impossible to forget. Everything changed in 1983 when Risky Business hit theaters. Her portrayal of Lana, the enigmatic call girl who becomes entangled with Tom Cruise's character, transformed her overnight. The film's famous dance scene made Cruise a star, but it was Rebecca's hypnotic presence that gave the movie its emotional gravity. Audiences were captivated. She wasn't just the seductress, she was the mystery, the risk, the power. Off-screen, her chemistry with Cruise was just as real, sparking a romance that burned bright under Hollywood's watchful eye. But, like many celebrity love stories, theirs couldn't survive the spotlight. Through the 1980s and early 1990s, Rebecca became one of Hollywood's most compelling actresses. She brought nuance and passion to roles in The Slugger's Wife, Runaway Train, and God Created Woman. But it was the hand that rocks the cradle that cemented her place in film history. As Peyton Flanders, the vengeful nanny hiding behind a disarming smile, Rebecca delivered a performance that was both terrifying and mesmerizing. The movie became a cultural phenomenon, and her portrayal of controlled rage and fragility made her unforgettable. Yet success came with its own darkness. Rebecca once admitted that fame was a double-edged sword, thrilling but isolating. She was often cast as the dangerous woman, the seductress, the one who burned too brightly. But underneath those roles, she longed for peace, for authenticity. Her personal life reflected that search. She married writer Bruce Wagner, though the marriage was later she found a deep connection with musician Leonard Cohen, whose poetic soul matched her own. He would later call her his muse, inspired by her complexity and grace. Their love was profound, but, like so many of her stories, it wasn't forever. By the mid-1990s, Hollywood's landscape was shifting. The rich, complex female roles that had defined her career were disappearing. Rebecca refused to compromise or chase trends. She wouldn't become a version of herself that didn't feel real. Instead, she stepped back, focusing on her life beyond the camera. With her then-partner, actor and director Patrick O'Neill, she raised 2 daughters who became her greatest joy. "The most important role I've ever played," she once said, "was being their mother." Even after stepping out of the spotlight, Rebecca's artistry never faded. She returned to the screen in standout roles in Identity and the acclaimed series Jessica Jones, reminding audiences that her power was timeless. Her beauty had evolved, no longer the fragile allure of youth, but the commanding presence of a woman who had lived, lost, and learned. Despite her success, Rebecca remained a mystery. She rarely gave interviews, avoided Hollywood's party circuit, and preferred the quiet of solitude over the chaos of fame. Those close to her said she drew strength from silence, from being grounded in who she truly was. That might be the key to her enduring appeal, while others sought constant attention. Rebecca found freedom in stillness. In recent years, rare personal photos have resurfaced candid glimpses of a woman at peace with her past. A laughing young star beside Tom Cruise, a tender mother with her children, an artist lost in thought. Each image tells a chapter of a life that refused to be ordinary. Together, they reveal not just a movie star, but a woman who built herself piece by piece, from resilience and truth. Rebecca de Mornay's journey is one of survival, reinvention, and quiet defiance. She faced an industry that wanted her to be a fantasy, and instead she became a force. She turned away from roles that didn't honor her craft, walked out of relationships that dimmed her light, and chose to live a life defined not by attention, but by authenticity. And maybe that's why her story continues to captivate. Because in a world obsessed with pretending, Rebecca De Mornay never pretended at all. She has always been herself, complex, passionate, and unapologetically real. As her story fades to quiet, we're left with the image of her sitting in that dimly lit room, surrounded by memories of a life fully lived. The photos show her past, but her spirit, fierce, graceful, and entirely her own, remains untouchable. If her story inspired you, don't forget to hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories about the women who dared to live life their way.